Hello and a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to today's postgrad webinar service brought to you today by our partners, Heriot-Watt University, who have campuses in the UK, Dubai, and Malaysia. Today, we're going to be hearing about the supply chain leaders, future ready supply chain leaders starting here. And we're going to hear specifically from Program Director of the MSc Logistics and Supply Chain Management at Edinburgh Business School. But before I do hand you over, a reminder today's session is live. Please pop your questions in the Q&A box. I know everyone will still put it in the chat box, that's fine. But please try your best to put it in the Q&A box at the top or bottom of your screen, depending on what you're watching on. And if you do have any concerns or issues in the future on demand, please bear in mind today's date is the 12th of March 2026. If you are looking to find out information on funding, scholarships, anything program specific, it may be subject to change. So please email the team at the university. And if you want to reach out to us, webinars at postgradsolutions.com is the place to contact us. For now, I'd like to hand you over to Dr. Gohani. Now, he's going to be with you for the next 30 to 40 minutes. Over to you, and I'll be back for the Q&A.
Thanks, Garrett, and welcome everyone. Welcome from foggy Edinburgh morning and evening for everywhere else. Okay, my name is Güven Gürkaninen, and I'm an assistant professor of operation management at Edinburgh Business School, and I am program director for Edinburgh campus only for MSc Logistics and Supply Chain Management program at Edinburgh Business School. Today, I will mention a couple of things. Actually, we frame it why you should study such a topic, but before we directly tell you should study such a topic, you should understand why that topic is important. So we will begin with growing importance of supply chains, and then we will introduce how our program align for your development, career development for that domain, and then we will show you what kind of career opportunities you should expect once you finish your degree. And we will talk about Edinburgh, and we will talk about Edinburgh Business School. And one of our current students will help us to share her experience at Edinburgh and the Logistics and Supply Chain Management program. And finally, we will have questions from you to answer. If you are ready, let's start. And if you look at the history, you will think you will see lots of wars is happening to control the supply chain lines, the trade lines, where the valuable goods are and how they transfer over the period. And today, even though we don't have too much war, it's even more important because the world is very well connected and goods transport from one point to another point, and the competition is vital, and the companies do not compete just with each other. They actually compete with a supply chain level. So there's a traditional question we ask. You can get the same chocolate from two different retailers with two different prices, and how they are able to provide those prices is actually embedded in their supply chain strategies, because while one is uh, focusing on more product variation, different suppliers, and flexibility and customer service. The other one might focus on only limited products, replenishment of those products with quick turnover, inventory turnover rates, and reduce their cost, and then they can provide you much better prices. So we wouldn't compare Toyota versus Ferrari, to be honest, because even though they both compete in car manufacturing environment, car manufacturing suppliers. One is luxury product, one is general product for households. So this is the thing. And if you look at the global supply chains, they affected with small disruptions. Even the small disruption can create lots of impact. And I want to give you one case study uh, on Canal, the couple of years back, in 2021, 23rd of March, was the name. Even given incident, yeah, the ship blocked the Suez for 6 days. and the cost of that 6 days was predicted 9 to 10 billion dollars, and it was just only one incident. Because of this, lots of ships has to turn around to Africa to come to mainland Europe. So because of their inventory levels, lots of factories in Europe had to cancel their production lines, and they couldn't continue the production as normal. And this is only one example. If you look at the COVID time, we had the chip issues. The car manufacturers canceled their chips orders, and then digital tools manufacturers like the tablets, computers, and so on increase their capacity. And then suddenly everybody wanted to buy car because they didn't want to take the public transportation. The car industry struggled to find chips to put inside the car to send it to customers. So there's lots of different things in a supply chain environment you can think of. And I'm gonna go back one step back. And if you look at the globalization strategy, the parts is not just belong one countries. It's belong everyone around the globe. And if you think about a simple iPhone, its design happened in California. It's produced in China. Most of the materials come from around, like their screen is coming from Samsung, if I'm not mistaken. And the smallest part is coming from different suppliers. And if you think about all those connectivity, they need to manage every little one differently. And this is the first thing. You need to improve your cost structure and optimize your supply chain. The second thing is that today's supply chain faces the current supply lines are actually traditionally coming from our back like 60 years, 100 years ago. So all those ports and design happen with the old technology. And every day we have a new technology to use. So we can use AI, we can use tracking systems, tracking devices, so we can monitor everything on a digital twin. So we can make lots of decisions around data itself, and it creates the digital transformation domain on supply chain. So if you want to control where your meat is coming from, you can use blockchain technology like Carrefour is using currently in France. Is they trace all the agriculture background of a cow, and then when you eat it, you can actually see which farm are actually grow that cow and turn it into beef. So you can see end-to-end story. So digitalization is another track. It creates lots of opportunities as well as lots of challenges exist there. Think about, you can automate almost all manufacturing, but when you automate all the manufacturing, you change the skill set of that manufacturing unit. So rather than having a blue collar employees, you probably need higher skilled white collars employees who understand those systems to update the infrastructure and so on. And then resilience and sustainability is another issue, especially in European Union. If you want to sell something in European Union economic zone, European economic zone, I think, it requires you to reduce your carbon emission, be energy efficient, be sustainable from the material source. When we talk about sustainability, it's not just using recycled products. Actually, it's creating more durable products and circular economical systems, which we have lots of expertise in the schools in this domain, especially in the chemical industry, where lots of materials can be captured with different strategies. But when it comes to sustainability and resilience, it's very crucial to understand that this is a challenge for next 10 years. And when this passed, we will have another challenge. Probably it will be something different, but we know there will be another challenge. And that's reason we need resilience. For instance, today there's a conflict in the Middle East. I hope it's going to end as soon as possible with limited impact. But what's happening there affects every one of us. It's increased the energy prices in the Europe. It increased supply lines, the lead times, and the impact cause more problem, and then you need to solve those problems, and in the school we overcome those problems. So if you look at the how future supply chains will be made, you can see that digital tools and digital technology will play a crucial role. The second thing is we need to create a sustainability aspect of it. Even the China today is investing sustainable energy resources more than any other country at the moment. And the final is we need resilient in our supply lines. So when something happened in Suez Canal, how I can create an alternative for that, and how we can create a safe journey for our goods and keep our people and production alive in Europe or vice versa. So all these things is connected, and we don't expect it's going to be dissolved for a near future. So this is the key. And if you look at the school, the program, this is not a static program. We upgrade it almost every couple of years because the needs change, the knowledge we know is change, and it's important to stay up to date. And if you look at today's presentation and the knowledge in our website will be upgraded end of this semester because we approved our next semester's portfolio. There will be some small changes, and we are doing this every now and then. But if you look at our program, we are trying to prepare our students for understanding the complexity of a supply chain and how we can transform those complexity into opportunities. Because if there's a challenge, if there's a problem, if it affects everyone in the competition, whoever solve that problem will win in the competition. If you think about pandemic, it's a great example. Lots of companies growth. It's incredible. You might think that lots of companies actually shrink, but no, especially online delivery systems become very popular. Technologies who support those systems become vital, and traceability tools and individual connectivity, IoTs, become much more popular than ever. And it affected lots of things. And there's lots of good case studies there, especially in the UK. We can give you an example of Morrison. If you know a little bit about the retail sector in the UK, we have Tesco, Sainsbury, Lidl, Aldi, and Morrison and Asda, lots of different suppliers of retail industry. And the Morrison was the one of the last one who entered online delivery systems. You shop while you are at home. And they said, we know our customers will come us, but there was lockdown. The people didn't want to go outside to take risk of virus. And eventually, 6 months and 7 months later of Tesco or Sainsbury, they actually introduced their online delivery system. So you need to adapt. You need to find your way in that complexity. So that will give you a benefit in the competition. And if you think about this, we will focus on supply chain strategy and operations and how we can design different operations and different supply chain structures. If you think about Zara, you all know Zara is one of the state of art supply chain design. If you look at the retail industry in fashion, their inventory turnover rate is 3 months, and the average inventory turnover rate in that sector is 6 months, which gives them quite high responsiveness to market. And their market is about fashion, and anything can be very popular in today's environment. If a TikToker or influencer use a t-shirt, for instance, everybody wants to buy the same t-shirt or same clothes, whatever it is. And think about this way, how you can compete that speed. And suddenly, especially with the pandemic's boost, online shopping boost, Shein, out of nowhere, you might think, came to marketplace and they said, okay, we're gonna bring low cost products, good fashion, high quality to everyone within a week. And how they design their infrastructure is they don't hold any inventory. They use lots of data analytics and AI, and then they design their supply chain from eliminating all the middlemen. And they ship with the aviation as long as you don't put any battery on it. Regulatory items cannot go to aviation, and these new technologies and concepts create lots of opportunity. And currently, Shein overtook the throne from Zara for being most expensive brand, I would say, but you should be aware of in the same segmentation. It's not, they are not competing against Chanel or other luxury products because there's a segmentation there. They compete in the general market rather than the other one. The second part is logistics and transportation. We design how we can use electrical vehicles, how we can use hydrogen as an energy source for ships for carbon neutrality, and how we can design the warehouse systems and how we can make them green and how we can adopt technology there. So that's another thing. The other part is procurement. Procurement and supply relationship is very vital. Think about, there is different strategies there. You can have Toyota approach, for instance. Toyota usually works with one main supplier and then two alternatives. They don't create too much suppliers. But in the West, we see companies, they prefer to work with different suppliers so they don't need to create a dependency. So we explain these strategies in detail, and then when you face whatever in your career, you can actually know that, okay, there's a solution for that. We just need to search and understand if that solution fits with our problem. And then the some are lectures, some of our topics is around sustainability and green logistics, which is again, if you want to sell something to European market, European economic zone, you need to be sustainable. It has to be environmentally sustainable. It has to come from a resource. They don't use modern slavery term come out, and you need to understand those constraints. So if you work in China, you may say that it's not affecting me, but actually it's affecting you because you want to ship your products to West so you can make money. So you want to reach bigger marketplaces. And then data-driven supply chain decision making. This is the future. Whatever you need to know about future is we have vast data, big data. We collect lots of different things. Even if you come here, you are gonna see people working on computer screen. They can follow my eyes and they can optimize my eye movement when I'm doing a work, and then they can design a dashboard based on my eye movement. So I will use the screen efficiently. So we collect different type of data, and you need to know how to use that data to make a decision. So it's not going to be your decision per se, but it will come from data. So it will be much better decision than intuitive decisions, like I just have a feeling I should do this. That's maybe in the past it was correct. It was giving results, but right now we have lots of data, and data may say that which employee is failing, and you can say if they have the proper training or not, and if there's any quality issue in the product, where it's come from. We can actually observe it with data, and then we can create insights, what kind of intervention we need to do to solve those problems, or so on. And if you think about all these things, we are a department of 40-45 people, and we have globally known professors to very bright early research careers. early career researchers. And if you think about it, it's a very good primate and it's very supportive environment. And I will dive a little bit on our reputation. And if you think about our program, we have two accreditation at the moment, and we are working to get AACBC or AACSB. I always have a trouble with the abbreviations. But anyway, we have CILT, Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. This is a global network. You can get title and you can show that you are a expert in this domain, and our program is accredited from them, and they provide us very good access to warehouses, manufacturing places, interesting events they design, and they also give membership for our students so they can access their reports, data, trainings, and so on. And the second one is about Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, CIPS. And if you think about this too, you can, I don't know if you use LinkedIn. Most people put these titles next to their name. So if someone is looking for a procurement expert, they can know that, okay, this is a chartered institute approved their experience. So I can trust in a way that person. So I should go for that person rather than someone who doesn't have these titles and approval. So you can say that, okay, maybe I should go with the safe one. This is the first one. The second one, it creates a network. And in business world, you are better if you have a network. You are much stronger if you have a strong network. I can give you this example. I can talk with someone from Tokyo to someone from Los Angeles within 15 minutes on my WhatsApp. And if you think about that, that's strength of my network, and it's coming from schools, especially schools, not from work. Because in school, lots of people is coming from different environment. And if you create a good communication with them, you can keep talking once a while. You don't need to talk every day, but once a while, I have a friend in Egypt. He is working in ship industry. He manage a port. So if I need to ship something to Egypt, I can directly ask his help. If I need someone in Dubai because we want to sell something in Dubai, I can go one of my graduate degree friend who is selling digital transformation technology there. If I want to talk anything about China, I have dozens friends in China. So that network actually gives me strength to solve a problem when I face in this. And this is what we are trying to do in Heritwat. When you come here, we don't want you to just sit here and then take the lessons and pass those courses. You can do that, it's up to you, but we don't suggest that. Engage with people, go to student union, and spend time with different departments because school has brilliant engineering facility and brilliant business management school, so EBS. So you will need those network. And if you look at more detail the program, you will see we updated our program, we changed some courses and we put new ones, and you will see 7 mandatory courses. First semester, if you start in September next September, you will get strategies for managing supply chains. This is analysis of how we manage how there are different strategies in supply chain environment. The second one, supply chain planning. This is a course I designed with Chris Rutherford and Shireen Nassar and John Lilo. And these are all experts in this domain, and it focuses on analytical part of inventory management, ERP systems, how we use technology for supply chain performance, and so on. If you look at the supply chain risk and resilience, this is a brilliant course. You need to understand what kind of risk do you have in your supply chain, because if you are in food environment, your risk is different than the high-tech environment because, for instance, I'm currently doing a consultancy with a food manufacturer. Their product can stay in the shelf for 4 years. 4 years. It's a very good time for a product to stay in the shelf. But for a high-tech product, 4 years means dead product because life cycle for a cell phone is like 2 years. Every 1 year they introduce a new phone, and you probably change your phone 3 or 4 years. So if you think about it, these are the risk there is different in terms of obsolescence. Business analysis and introduction to big data. You need to understand how you can use statistical tools, regression analysis, correlation analysis, basic histogram diagram to analyze the data that digital systems create for you. So I'm going to go back a little bit. I talk about all the companies at the moment generates dozens of data. And I can give you an example. There's a TED talk, a German professors talk about the internet and the cloud systems at the moment, the servers all around the world, is actually biggest energy consumers, electricity consumers in the world in the second rank. The first is US, second is sorry, internet, that infrastructure, and third China, India, and so on. So if you look at the cloud system, the data infrastructure, you create a waste there. So if you think about how we manage that data is important. If you don't use them, there's no point to store those data. Right? The second one is sustainable logistics, how we can create logistics system more sustainable, especially if you think about supply chains compete in sustainability domain in European market, especially. We have net zero targets. Every company has to manage scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 net zero targets. Scope 1 is the easiest one to shrink down. If you change your energy resources to sustainable one, it's pretty much it. But there's, of course, more than, but it's pretty much internal waste of the company in terms of energy, in terms of material, in terms of labor, right? The second scope is your transportation, and third scope is your supplier transportation, if I'm not mistaken. This is not my expertise, but briefly, I know the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. And scope 3 is directly coming from logistic systems. Think about this. You produce a product, and you are not a logistic company. You provide that product to a logistic company, and then that logistic company bring it to your clients. And their energy consumption counts carbon emission for your product. So we need to design logistic systems to reduce that carbon emission so we can actually ship our product to Europe safely. So you don't need to pay carbon taxes, right? So research philosophy and practice, this is a course, mandatory course for all the MSc programs, as we want you to understand how to use academic resources, how to write a report, how to create a dissertation. And I think I missed global procurement and supply. This is directly focusing on supplier relationship management domain of a company. So in each company, there are different operations. Supplier management is different than the customer management. In customers, they are your customers. In suppliers, there are lots of different suppliers. You need to pick which one is the right one for you, right? So this is focusing on that one. And then we have 3 optional for second semesters. You can go for system thinking and analysis. You can go for strategic project management, or you can go for quality management. So all these 3 things is actually very valuable courses, but we don't offer mandatory. You can pick whichever you feel it fits with your career goal. If you want to be a good consultant in future, I would suggest go for system thinking, because as a consultant, you need to understand systems, and that course provides you that knowledge. If you want to work in project management environment, go for project management. Learn the principles of the project management tools, how you can manage resources, how you can align your goals and resources. If you want to be quality assurance person, go for quality management course. So these are on top of a cake. Whichever topping you want, you can pick. And when it comes to dissertation, we are introducing new opportunities for every year. We would like to introduce Practice Excellence Network. You can scan the code and you can see our industry business engagement page in the EBS. If you look at dissertation, there's traditional dissertation. You can conduct a research. You want to understand the problem, and then you read the literature, and then formulate a gap, and then create a research design and collect data and solve that result, problem. That's the option one. And we want experience. You want experience. You want industry touch. If we have a client who has a problem, for instance, right now we have a company, they need to understand their inventory holding cost system. So we are aligning their problem with a dissertation. And then the student goes to company, extract data, understand the problem, solve the problem, create a report around that problem, get the dissertation. And the win is for the company, they have a problem solving. The win for the students, they don't do anything theoretical. They actually have experience. I will mention it later on. It's very important. And maybe we might create a job opportunity for someone, because when you solve a problem for a company as a student, they might think that, okay, maybe we need this kind of skill set in the business. So they might offer you a job, which I get from Goodyear when I was an undergraduate student 16 years ago. This is the program portfolio and what we are offering. I spent too much time here. I'm just going to skip a little bit. If you look at the opportunities, career opportunities, it's amazingly high. And you can think lots of things. I will come there, next slide. But when you study in this program, we expect you to develop some skill sets. The first one, you need to think strategically. 2 plus 2, always 4, right? Sometimes you cannot say the truth. Depends. Sometimes you need to understand where you are. We have a saying in Turkish, all truth cannot be saying the same everywhere. You cannot say this a thing if they're not gonna understand you. So you need to keep that thought on your brain. So you cannot say everything loud. So if you think about strategic thinking in terms of supply chain, we know Tesla is never gonna be at this stage competing Toyota. If you look at the car manufacturing environment, Toyota is still not producing too much EV. They are still focusing on hybrid technology, which they think that's the future. And they create all their supply chain around. So when I go to a Toyota company or Toyota supplier, I will focus on something different than when I visit a Tesla supplier. So you need to understand that strategic position of that supply chain in your company role in that supply chain. The second one, analytical skills. You need to understand how to use data. If you have data, it's good. If you don't have data, you can create your own data collection methodology in a company and then start using it. Right? There are different strategies there. And the goal is the performance. We want businesses to give performance. You can define performance in different levels, different ways, but the priority is always the performance. If you don't give the performance for a company, they're not going to work with you, unfortunately, right? And then operational excellence, we want you to think continuous improvement is a journey. It's not a specific goal. You need to develop your skill set. You need to develop your processes. You need to develop your supply chain. You need to increase your sustainability. So it's not like, okay, I did this. I saved this much water in the process. That's done. No, it's endless journey. The operational excellence is a state we can never reach. So you need to understand that. And we develop that skill set. And then leadership. We need leaders more than ever because the number of people in the world is increasing. We have more units, we have more departments, we have more people to manage. And to be able to do this, we actually have very good strategies in our portfolio. If you think about two of our courses as group work. In the group work, we don't really measure your skills to solve a problem. We actually we want you to manage people with different attitudes because we know that if a group work as a team, they get higher mark. If a group work as an individual and then bring everything together, it becomes like unharmonic orchestra, like everybody's playing something different. So they get a low mark. So it's exactly the same thing in the organizations because in the organizations we have the human and we manage those human and we need leadership. If you understand the how to manage different cultures, how to solve different attitudes, because everybody has different background and diversity, how we manage that diversity, right? So we will develop those skill set. And what you can do those skill set. The first, uh, some of our students come with us with experience. They work 5, 6 years after undergraduate degree, and then they said, "Okay, it's time for me to do a master degree to be dive in this domain." And then yes, they can start their career from mid-level or leadership roles. But if you are coming us after graduation without no prior work experience, we don't suggest you to go apply management roles. You should start with low level, like early careers. When I say low level, it's still not the undergraduate level, but beginning level career plans, like a logistic analyst, supply chain analyst, procurement analyst. Like you will do the hard work, someone will make the decision. But if you have experience already, we will build all other those things through PEN, Practice Excellence Network. We will give you a real problem, and then you can have more confidence to go for mid-career position. You know what? While I was studying, I did this, I did that. And then you will have that experience. And then you can go for management roles. And if you think about CIPS and Charters CILT. These two organizations provide events, case study competitions, or lots of different opportunity for you to get hands-on experience or state-of-art information, knowledge about what's going on in a specific industry. If you attend lots of CILT events, you will know what's going on in logistics sector in the UK. If you don't attend, you have no idea. If you don't read, you have no idea. ChatGPT will not give you that answer. You need to know that. And you need that link. Again, we have transit. I would like to dive in a little bit in this transit. Transit is a project, 52 million pound project to create a digital twin of UK transportation infrastructure. We are working with Cambridge University and, if I'm not mistaken, Glasgow University together, and they provide us some small research projects for our master students because they work with stakeholders. If stakeholders has a problem, they don't. The research is expensive for that. They give us, and we give it to you, and then you have hands-on experience. So when you look at this career pathway, we know if you don't have any experience, you will begin as an early career role. But we are trying to give you more experience while you are studying here. And this is in our strategy. That's another thing. In the EBS, we have a strategy to be practice-oriented teaching. So when we talk about teaching. We don't just give you all the theoretical knowledge. We want you to have practical experience. So when you go to a company, you're not just gonna say, "Oh, what I need to do." It's like fish out of the water condition. I can give you one career example. We have a graduate in 2007 or 2009, I can't remember exactly. And his first job was operational supervisor in public transportation in the UK. He stayed there 7 years. And then got a research contract from a university. He became a consultant for logistic companies. And now he's a business development director in a digital healthcare service company. So this is the career pathway we expect from our students. And I will give you a stat about EBS later on. We are top. We were top in 2023, I think, in graduates reaching the management position by first one in Scotland. We are the first one whose graduates goes to CEO or managing director levels. And that's in our, how to say, that's embedded in the schools. We are trying to create future leaders. When we say future of supply chain leaders, we are not just trying to make a sales pitch. We are actually saying we don't want to create just a logistic analyst end of their career. No, we want you to be a leader. That's why we update our portfolio. We create opportunities for you so you can take that responsibility and reach a level. If you want to focus on a specific industry, you can focus on any industry you want. A logistic and supply chain expert can work in any industry. You can work in a hospital, you can work in a bank, you can work in even a consultancy. You can work in any environment. The limit is sky. Okay, and that's why I'm not gonna dive in here. And I can give you one example. I mentioned 45 scholars in our department, and almost we have expertise in every industry, almost, because there's too many industry, let's face it. But we have manufacturing experts, we have pharmaceutical experts, we have food, we have healthcare. Whatever you want to know, we will have someone you can go and talk, and you can get their expertise. And one more thing, this is not exist in most of the universities in UK, but in our business school, we have an incubator. If you want to turn an idea into a business, we can actually promote that, right? We can actually mentor you. I'm gonna speed up a little bit. Yeah, and I love being in Edinburgh. All right, first of all, it's historic, but it's very live. You can find anything you want. It's very well connected. Nobody will judge you while you are here. You will not face any racist activities because every year there is a huge festival here during the summer, Fringe Festival. Thousands of people come all around the world and everybody welcome them. It's very connected, very well connected. We have airport, we have direct flight to almost everywhere in Europe, in Turkey, in Dubai. You can get very good transportation to here. Cultures, festival, safest city. If you look at the ranking, where would you like to live ranking, Edinburgh is always in top 10. Whoever makes the things, we compete with Baltic cities. They are also good. It's a capital. It's capital of Scotland. If you come here, you will see Scottish Parliament. You can visit them. You can watch them. It's very accessible. It's very in terms of living, cost of living, it's very balanced. It's not bad like Cambridge, Oxford, or London, other cities in England. And you can see we have, I think we have 4 or 5 other universities in the city. So it's very international society in terms of students. So you can meet lots of different cultures and so on. If you think about the EBS, why EBS? Why not other schools? I think first, it's very accessible. Anybody can get here. We usually don't judge. It's practice-oriented education. This is our motto. It's in each coursework. Usually we give you a company name and you go collect data about that company and solve a problem. And we use our research network, research to create how we can create responsible business, like sustainable business, create people part of it, governance part of it. So it's fair. If you think about the numbers, if you like the numbers, we are ranked first in Scotland for Industry International faculty and citation per faculty member. Highest ranking Scottish University produced more CEOs and managing director in 2023. National survey, this is a survey, they do it nationally with all the universities, shows that overall student satisfaction score has increased to 75%, which is good, really good. And we are in top in Scotland for ethical investment in people, planet, and university league table. When we mention accessibility, I can give you one impression. I love my school. If there is a disabled person in the room, we bring two British Sign Language expert just for that person, so that person can access what's going on inside the room. So in terms of that, it's, if you see those accessibility samples, there's more. You will love here. You will love being a part of here. And one more thing, I'm a graduate of Heriot-Watt. I studied here from 2025 to 2024 to 2016. Sorry, 2014 to 2016 for my PhD. Okay, and this is the motto I have for the EBS. It's coming from Dumbledore, but I changed it a bit. You will always find that help will always be given to EBS, at EBS, to those who ask for it. If you need help and if you come to anyone, you will find a solution. Maybe that person is not going to solve your problem, but that person will contact you to someone who will solve your problem. So if you are here, if you come our campus, if you become a member of our society, you will know that support is always available. And this is brilliant. This is why I come back here as an academic and want to work for here. And as a academic, I'm telling one side of the story. So I would like to pass to our current student, Akshara, to share her experience with you.
Thank you, Gurkin. That was a lovely explanation of how our course has a very important part in logistics as a whole. Hey guys, I'm Akshara and I'm currently pursuing my master's in logistics and supply chain management. And I'm really happy to be here to share my experience as a student. Personally, as an international student, it is so hard to find your place in the university or in the course generally. The first thing when I joined Heriot-Watt was I felt like I belonged there. It is a feeling that you will not get anywhere else. I mean, the courses are so amazing. The people are so amazing. Edinburgh as a city is amazing itself. It was very fun to experience a new life here. Coming from an international student and being here, I would say it was such a great experience. And how I got started as a student is I just applied, got in, met all the requirements, and that's it. It's easy as that. You don't really need to look into things too much. So it's just, if you're gonna go for it, just go for it. That's what I would say. Yeah. So the induction week was really helpful because that's when the first time I saw the campus, it was so beautiful. Trust me, you need to see the Edinburgh campus. It is amazing. And yeah, the induction we got me started into how the course is gonna work, how the modules are customized to our course, and how the lecturers are gonna be there. And yeah, I personally had a chat with few of the lecturers, and it was amazing. Trust me, the experience they have in this field is non-negotiable. And the academic life here, it is pretty flexible. You don't need to go to classes daily. The classes are arranged as per your convenience. So it is really easy to have a work-life balance, I would say. If you're looking for part-time jobs, I mean, just go make a resume, just apply and go for it. And yeah, that's basically it. So the part-time job and the studies are not gonna bother you. Like it's not gonna clash. So it's pretty easy to have that work-life balance, and the lecturers here are supporting and accommodating. I've bothered Gurkan with a lot of questions, and he was very kind enough to answer every one of it and guide me through. It is so great that I get to meet people, industry experts, as our lecturers, because the knowledge they have, I don't think I'm going to get it anywhere else. So I'm really grateful to pursue logistics and supply chain management, especially at Heriot. Campus life and community, it's just we've got a lot of clubs, sports unions, societies, and there recently there was this election for the student union, and yeah, you basically feel included in everything, and that's how it's gonna be. So yeah. And the top tips I would give is just talk to a lot of people, make a lot of connections, bombard a lot of questions to your lecturers. Obviously, they're gonna answer all of it. And it was just a wonderful experience to study at Heriot, and I'm really grateful for how my life has turned out to be. And I hope if you come join Heriot and pursue masters in logistics and supply chain, you will definitely get a clear idea of how your life is gonna be. To me, to be very honest, I had no clue of where I want to work in or how I'm gonna go through life after uni. But our career services and our lecturers were very kind enough to guide me through where I am interested in, how I can work towards it. Yeah, so basically, it's an amazing experience. And to all the coming students, all the very best. So happy we'll meet sometime soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshay. I think you mentioned one thing I missed, especially we see this with the new graduates. If we don't have the work experience, they don't really know where they want to go. And in the school, we have lots of experience and we have mentorship. It's not just for the students. Even I have a mentor in the school, a professor who direct me and support my development. And this is a continuous development of career, right? CPDC or something like that. And what we are trying to do is, if you don't know, we observe you and we give you some advice. Like you are good at back operations, you might be a really good person for a sales, you might be a good person to operational excellence, etc. and etc. So this is where you can actually test yourself. You know what you like, what you don't like, and our practice oriented focus is actually giving you that opportunity. You maybe didn't do any internship, right? Our courseworks will provide you those things. Maybe you will not like problem solving. You are better at sales. But see, you need to find that in your own journey, and we are here to support whoever comes in our school, because this is a society for uh, that's us together. We make difference, we make a difference. See, that's our motto. And this is a quote: supply chains are backbone to global economy, and future leaders must combine digital innovation, sustainability, and strategic thinking. And I cannot emphasize strategic thinking enough. Uh, but this is the main difference for system to system. Each system has a different uh, goals and constraints. Thanks, Garrett. I think I'm done with my part.
Thank you very much. Appreciated. And also thank you to the student for coming on and talking as well. It's always great to hear firsthand the experiences of those that have applied and been in the exact same position as potential students are in now. Can I ask you, there's been a few questions come in, but one I've got for you is typically what would a student expect to go on and do in their career with this kind of postgraduate degree? Um, One thing watching that over the last 15 minutes, how passionate you are about it and how broad it can be. Um, but typically, what would you expect a student to go into?
First of all, I think it's very depend on personality. If you like people, come study here and this program. Because if you're a logistics expert, you're gonna talk to truck drivers. You're gonna talk to a captain in the sea. The communication skills, if you like open communication, this is brilliant. You can be a consultant, you can solve lots of problems. This is why I'm in academia, by the way. This gives me a chance to, this is my career, right? I'm also coming from the similar program. I studied logistic and operation management in master's degree and a background in industrial engineering and management PhD. And I love problem solving and I solve problems for other companies. And right now in academia, when you come with a problem and we find a solution. We go to companies, we find a problem, and we find a solution. That's an excellent thing. It's motivating me more than anything else. It's like if I'm working into a problem to solve, I feel like I'm alive. It's more engaging, like it's my dream job. But if you don't like this, if you are an engineer who likes machine, who likes data analytics, there's still place for you because big data analytics and business analysis usually stay inside behind the computers, work with data, make decisions, and deliver it to their leader. But still, there you still need to know a little bit communication skills there because you need to sell your ideas eventually. And
Yeah, so apologies. One of the things I associate Harriet Watt with, having worked with them for many years now, is the Great Career Service. So
yes,
they finish, they come here, they graduate. One of the things that impresses me so much is the fact that when they do graduate, it's not a case of thank you, see ya, bye.
no,
Um, there really is a great hand-holding exercise to help them into their future career, isn't there? Again, how important is that to a student? That when they
it
are
is.
choosing their degree, it's for that career reason, not just for the next year.
I am a bit open these kind of things. Title for me doesn't really make too much sense. At the end, I'm a very pragmatist person, and if you think about if you are able to do things, those title will give you a chance to get that position, but your skill set will help you to continue. I can give you one example about that handholding. I have a graduates from another program, operation management program, which is not continuing anymore in our things. It's inside this supply chain program right now. Uh, he eventually find a job last month, the one he actually wanted. He had experience in manufacturing in India. We worked with his dissertation on digital OE systems in manufacturing environment. We prepared him UK manufacturing environment and we applied lots of job. Even he graduated, he got a service job. It was public service job, but our dream job was manufacturing because his skill set was designed for that. And now he's a quality inspector, quality assurance inspector of a company. I cannot name it
Mm.
In Scotland, not the in Scotland. So 2 years, and I saw a question: Can I find a job in Scotland? Yes, you can, depending on your skill set.
Mm.
This is very open country. It's I cannot emphasize this. I love being in Scotland. I am from another country and I love being in Scotland. And the reason is not the weather, you might predict, but the reason is everybody is friendly. There is a big society. Everyone is know that we are connected and help each other. And that's what we expect. If you want to be part of that society, you should be know that your job is not making money for your own. You need to create value for everyone else. So
Yeah.
I can give one example in our consultancy. We work with the manufacturers and we realize they're gonna lose the manufacturing side. And 1 year later, they lost the manufacturing operations to India. And I was like, how many people affected there? 100? 100 people doesn't have job, doesn't have food. So that's how we create value. So if we do our job very well, this society accept you. So if we that's the trick. But you need to bring something. And you need to bring something. We put something else on top of that through our program. And then eventually you will be much more ready to go for the job market. And if you don't have job market finding a job in the UK experience, we have the career service as Garrett mentioned. You can continue to get how to write a CV, how to get ready for the interviews, how to have a mock interview. I've done twice with my previous students. Prepare them a mock interview, ask them very hard questions, like how to deal with those situations. And then that is there. But again, if you don't engage, we are not gonna come after you. All right, you need to get this mock interview experience with us. So this is the rule. Akshar also mentioned it. You need to engage with everyone around you because we are not just the only one who you can learn. You can learn from other students, other experience. So it's a learning environment, if you ask me.
Again, we'll have to keep an eye on time.
Yeah,
Just to finish on presumably September start date for
yeah.
students looking for intakes. There is obviously animosity around the world at the moment. International relations is
Yeah.
quite tricky. Is there the option for students to defer if
That's
they can't
always
commit or do it
exists.
online? Are all these things available?
Online program is different. We have online program, but it's different. The syllabus, the content is a bit different there.
Yeah,
But if you have a health issue, if you have a emergency, if you want to decide, I want to come January, I don't want to come in September, you can. You just need to engage with the admin stuff. I think they know much better than I do, but we have this option. This is always exists.
yeah.
Sometimes we give conditional offer. For instance, you didn't get 6.5 from the IELTS, you couldn't get it on time. We defer you to next level. Maybe you can get it in next 3 months. So that's always an option.
Yeah, I think communication's key from the sounds of it. I
Exactly.
think all
If
the
you
team,
contact the right person, a person in the school, you will get an answer, the correct answer. So my logic works this way at Herit One. We can always solve a problem as long as what's the problem we know. As long as we can name the problem, we can always find a solution. If you fail, don't worry, we have receipts. If
yeah,
you have a issue with finance, we have a system here. They can find you part-time jobs. We can create some scholarship, or we can offer you how to manage your money. Or if you have a mental challenge, you might be homesick. This is the biggest problem, especially if it is your first time. You will be lonely. You need to manage that. And we have well-being service, which is brilliant. If you like sports, we have one of the state-of-art sports Oriam. Football clubs are coming there for training. The rugby teams are coming there for trainings. Scottish women rugby team, if I'm not mistaken, use that facility. So in terms of resources, we have lots of things, and we want you to use those resources. We don't want you to, all right, you just came to business school, stay in the business school. No, go to the engineering part. See what they are doing.
yeah.
Make friends from them. See Robotorium. We have Robotorium, National Robotorium. It's the best one in Scotland. And if you think about it, you can go and talk a robot, Ateka, any language. She's connected to internet. She can talk any language. It's very scary, but also very inspiring. So what can you do with a talking robot? So there's lots of things in campus. It's another thing. This is a campus university. You will feel this is your home. If you go to Edinburgh University, for instance, you will directly enter the building from street.
Yeah.
You will not feel like you are inside the university. You just feel like rich history, rich culture. I'm not complaining about that, but we have a campus. Everywhere around you is either a student, lecturer, admin, or staff. And it's very green. It's very beautiful.
It's its own city almost. So I think that's a wonderful way to finish, Gehan. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate
Thank
that.
you for the
We've
opportunity.
let things go on a little bit longer than normal, but I think it's been engaging. It's been good.
Yeah,
If
I
anyone
talk
has
too
any,
much. I know that.
no, it's good. It's engaging. It's very good. So thank you for your time. Appreciated.
Yeah.
To all those in the background, thank you. Thank you for the students actually for coming on also. And a massive thank you to you, the student, for watching. Thank you. Take care.